Yeah.
The thing that you never knew what you were going to do. That was another exciting thing about the job.
With the medical examiner.
Yeah, you went to work and you'd be in some big, beautiful, multi-million-dollar home, or you'd be in a crawl space somewhere in the Tenderloin because some guy's in the rafters, or he'd been stuffed there and died. But so you never knew what you were going to do.
That was Graham Cowley, a retired San Francisco medical examiner. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Back in 1999, Graham was one of the subjects of a feature that Peter Hartlaub wrote for the San Francisco Examiner newspaper. You might remember that story from episode 4 of Storied San Francisco. In this podcast, Graham will share a story of a job he once worked for the medical examiner's office. He'll also talk about the last job he worked before retiring in 2011, and who some of his favorite heroes are. Here's Graham.
1995, never forget it. The guy's dead, rolled up in a carpet at the BART station. Is it a murder, Toots? It's a murder. Not necessarily. His buddies who live on the street, they've rolled him up and parked him up in the BART station, down in the bowels of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some flowers there and a couple of candles burning. They're doing the Egyptian thing, They're putting they're
entombing,
doing them right.
Yeah.
And so we had to go down there, and we had to go down there right away because the guys that were getting off at midnight had already had a homicide. Kid had been beaten up, and so they wanted us to go notify the family, which we were going to do at 12:30 at night. We were getting ready, but this call came in, the BART station, so we did that. That lasted till around 3.
Wow.
Because we had to cover our tracks. We took photographs and did covered everything. Did possible homicide, and then of course we have to go back to the office and take a shower because we're covered in. We don't have the right. We don't have breathing apparatus or anything.
I saw the picture.
We got a pair of rubber gloves. That's it.
Yeah,
Get on with it.
I saw the picture that Peter gave me from the examiner.
But I was in the tunnel with the
Suits.
fireman, and he's got he's got all the masks and all that.
Yeah.
And it was 1995. HBO. There was a movie on called. It was about an alien or something. It was with Ben Kingsley and Maria Sorvino. Species.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, HBO. And I'd watched it. I always remember vividly from 9 to 11. And the little boy at the end, Forrest Whitaker, comes to help the little boy. And as he goes to reach the little boy who's covered in slime and everything, this tongue comes out. The kid's an alien, and wraps its tongue around. And that's the end of Forrest Whitaker. So I was in the tunnel. And
this is the train tunnel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I turned to the fireman. I said, "Did you see the movie tonight, Species, on HBO?" He said, "Get off." He'd seen it.
Oh, wow.
He'd seen it too. But there we were in the bowels of because it was in New York or something.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, did you see the film tonight?" Freak him out. But anyway, we got back to the office, took a shower, cleaned up, got all this, what they call it, powder and stuff, which was, what they call it, that everybody's dying from, that's in the boats. What they call it, that stuff they put on the inside the...
Not asbestos.
Thank you.
Okay.
We make a great team.
We do. Yeah.
We make a great team.
Think again about retiring from acting. I could feed you your lines.
Asbestos. It begins with an S. Yeah. No. There's an S in it. Asbestos. Yeah. Yeah. There's one S or two S's. Get cleaned up. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. We go knock on the door to tell the guy to ruin this family's life that their son won't be on. And it turns out that I knew the guy. I recognized him.
Oh, wow.
I recognized him. We went in. I started telling him that sound. It's almost like animalistic that came from him. The pain that he bellowed out, and which brought the whole house. His brother and sister, his mother, and his grandmother. They came downstairs, and I tell the story. Tell the story of not telling lies, but being, just not telling them everything.
Sure.
I don't know everything. I don't know what happened anyway. I know. So I'm, and then watch this family fall apart before your eyes, knowing that they're going to be ruined for the rest forever.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away. It's going to get better. And as we walked out, the sun was coming up, and I was driving the rig, and I turned to my partner. I said, "Hey, I'm done for the day. I can't drive." Again, made the mistake. I put the barrier down. I let my guard down.
With the family.
Yeah. And that happened so many times. You could be, some guys were good at it, or matter of fact, I'm sorry for you that passed away, I'm sorry about that. We'll just call the office tomorrow and someone will talk to you. There's my card, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry for your loss. And but it never happened. I was, sometimes I could just like,
Right.
I was doing that, but at the same time, my heart was aching.
Yeah.
And so that was, it was hard. But again, you'd go out with your mates, you go for a drink, or you'd go, do stuff. But it would play on you. But I survived, and I said, you can only do that for so long, I also remember in San Francisco when I was leaving, it was time for me to go. I could have stayed till I was 62, but I decided to go at 60. And but the last couple of months of working, the guys were great. I basically was the driver. I trained some of these guys, but they were in charge now. So I was just sailing out, and I was getting overtime because I was trying to pay off debts and stuff. So I was working the odd shift. But I always remember it was wet. It was raining. It was the Mission District. There was this kid that died at home. He was a teenager. He had MS. He had multiple sclerosis, and it was an expected death. And this, you could tell, this family had given their whole life revolved around this child. This young kid, and it was just so heartbreaking. And of course, I wasn't doing the case, so I was just sitting back. Usually, when the second guy on a call, when you're on a big case, you expect your partner to back you up, look for things, or check this out, check that, because he usually sees more than the actual investigator, because he's so caught up in making his notes and talking and interviewing people. So you're looking over his shoulder, covering, make sure he doesn't miss anything. So, but this was a natural death. We were waiting for the priest to come.
Oh wow!
And I lost it. It was too much for me. It was.
Was the whole family there?
Yeah, the family, and it was just so sad that this young man, had never had a life.
Yeah. How old?
I'm going to say he was like 13 or 14. It was just. They're working hard. It's like a 2-bedroom apartment. They've lived there. Mum and dad, and they had a boy and a girl. They were maybe 18 or 19. They were part of the family, and their lives were affected by it, of course. They're all living in a 2-3-roomed apartment. I just was watching all this, and I'm looking at all the Catholic, the cross and the thing, and all the. They're obviously a strong Catholic family, and I was brought up in the Catholic religion until I was 16. Then I gave it a rest. But I still have, it's still in my bones.
I know exactly what
you can't.
I'm in that boat as well.
You can't escape it.
Yeah.
Although, but anyway, I was anyway. it was too much for me. It was too much. And so when we got back in the van to drive back to the office, you know, I just let it go. You know, I was fighting. And the kid I was working with, he'd been working there about 4 or 5 years, says, "Yeah, Cowley, you're done for. You're done." I said, "I am. I'm finished. It's time to call it a day. It's my heart's broken." I mean, where's all the hospice nurses that worked in the 80s and 90s in San Francisco that had a tougher job than I did? We were only dealing with the end result and then notify. But these people, these nurses,
they were dealing with the sicknesses.
Don't get attached. I mean, okay, you're going to see the guy every day. You get to meet his friends or whoever, and then they die, and then it's on to the next one, or they have 3 or 4 people. So I always wondered how they got on, especially at Ground Zero back 80s, 90s. Goodness. So somebody else just said, "Well, who's your heroes?" Well, Jack Nicholson and Keith Richards. I mean, they're about the only two I go, whoa, if I saw them in a restaurant.
Right.
But my heroes is hospice nurses, hands down.
That's it for episode 10 of Storied San Francisco. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at StoriedSF. You can find our Facebook page at Storied San Francisco. Over on the website, we've got some great photos of Graham taken in his apartment by Michelle Kilfeather. The website address is storiedsf.com. You can also email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Quick story, I was able to track Graham down after someone commented on Peter Hartlove's Twitter about a documentary all about Graham and his work. The movie is called Graham's Tales, and you can find out more info at grahamstales.com. Don't forget, through the end of this month, Michelle's photo show, Walking to Boozeland, is up at the bar of the same name. Music for the podcast is by Otis McDonald, also known as Joe Bigale. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here next week when we'll hear some stories from musicians LeVay Smith and Chris Siebert.